Hello, I am Donny, and I am the cute one.
And I am Chelsea, and I am the cute one.
And TGIF, cuties, we're here.
We're here. I didn't know if I was going to make it.
You barely made it to Monday.
I sure didn't. My family got hit with a stomach bug, and nothing humbles you more than a stomach bug, especially a stomach bug with children. And I'm not going to get into the dirty details, but let me just say, yikes.
I appreciate you not getting into the dirty details, but I have a question for you. Would you rather throw up or have diarrhea?
I normally would say I would rather have diarrhea because that's just kind of my baseline.
What?
IBS girlies rise up.
Okay.
God gives his weakest of tummies to his strongest of girlies, or whatever that saying is. But no, after the stomach bug, I don't know, I might take a good vomit. Because there reaches a point where the eye of the tiger gets so angry with you.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
And now, as an IBS boy who also has psoriasis, I do understand a, torn up asshole. So I would say vomit, but then I think I'm too close to my birthday hangover where I can't say that in good faith either.
I love that we're not going to give the dirty details, but let's talk about ripped assholes.
Speaking of ripped assholes,
Sure.
The nature documentary I watched this week was about bonobos, and it was a tough watch. And let me remind you, the first nature documentary I watched was a hyena eating her own niece so that she could be queen. So, it's not an easy watch no matter what we watch. However, a monkey's prolapsed asshole is a tough view.
Well, once again, we have that twin tuition going. You were watching a prolapsed asshole. I feared for a prolapsed asshole. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato.
You're my own bonobo.
And to be clear, this is the same documentary, right? It's just a new episode.
Yes, Queens by Angela Bassett, yeah.
Yeah, I'm enthralled by your coverage.
This is going to be a lot of work, maybe too much work. Maybe I won't follow through with it, but I do think if I do, I'll blow up and I'll be the next, possibly Steve Irwin.
Wow.
I hope I don't have a daughter to kill me. However,
Circles become circles, haunting.
I do have a safari outfit in my Amazon cart because in my head, I want to take footage from nature documentaries, edit them down to 1 minute, and then do voiceovers with me in a safari costume on a green screen and make them reels. I really think that this could be my thing.
Yes. Once you explained the full idea, I am on board. I 100% support you in this venture. I was concerned at the start of that idea because you did present it as you being the next Steve Irwin, and I imagined you going out on safari.
Well, that's the thing. In my head, this has gotten so big that National Geographic will give me a show after my green screen series in which I will be brought to different zoos to meet animals or to safaris to touch a lion or whatever.
Our very own Brian Fellows.
Yeah, exactly.
That bird is a liar. Okay.
Oh, how's the cough? It's better, right?
It is a bit better. Should we tell the cuties we had our first taste of haterade on the YouTube channel?
We did.
Shout out to Jay Gross. I don't know. I feel like it's a will they, won't they situation because by the end, I think Jay Gross was flirting with me.
No, I think you've had too many teachers that tell you, if a boy's an asshole, he likes you.
Jay Gross started out being super mean and then by the end said, I hate that I kind of like your show. Honestly, when we make it big, that needs to be the billboard. Because I do think a lot of cuties start out that way. They listen, they're like, God, I hate that I kind of like this show. And before you know it, we suck you in.
Or suck you off if you look cute. That's only me, not Chelsea.
Have you had to block anybody since your mass unblocking?
No, my fingers twitch. I do really want to block people because there have been some headlines that people are in their feelings about, and that is normally the kind of people I would block so you don't have to live in the world I live in. But I also would like growth, so I do not want to have more people blocked than the amount of people that follow me. But it's very tough.
I feel like the first block in particular, you know what Sheryl Crow said, the first block is the deepest. And I think that you should really save up for something special for that first block. And after that, yeah, you can get a little bit more willy-nilly. But that first one's got to be special.
That's true. And on Twitter, it's easier because I do just mute people on
Twitter.
Twitter.
You can mute people on Instagram.
Only if you follow them.
Oh.
Like Twitter, I like to fully pretend you don't exist. I don't hate follow anyone, Chelsea. So if I don't like you, I just don't follow you. But on Instagram, sometimes the algorithm pushes these people that they think I would like because I follow other accounts similar. And then I'm like, yeah, but this person is the devil. I do not want to follow this person.
Yeah, it's like I haven't had Facebook since, I don't know, like 2008. But that's like when Facebook used to be like, do you know this person? Here's a recommended person from high school. Here's the person who bullied you in middle school. Here's the person you embarrassed yourself publicly in front of at a frat party 4 years ago. And it's like, no, I'm not following them for a reason, Facebook.
I know. I still do have Facebook because it's tied into Meta, so I need it for like Instagram payments. Not that Instagram pays me anymore, but for a month they were. So I still have Facebook, and it always tells me to follow my landlord. I'm like, please leave me alone.
Maybe you should follow your landlord to see what they're up to, why you have men in your walls all the time.
Oh, that's true. Maybe she'll respond easier to a DM than a text message.
Give her an old poke. Send her a bumper sticker. So this week brought us Peppa Pig roasting the new Taylor Swift album, a Spice Girls reunion, Ashanti and Nelly announcing their pregnancy, The Office spinoff casting news, and Candace Cameron's brush with death. And somehow we've made it to Friday yet again.
Now, before we move on to the real topics, I do need to talk about Candace Cameron really quick.
Of course.
She said she almost died because she was on a harness or something for some, like, I don't know.
For Fuller House.
Yeah, no. But, like, in the episode, she was on a harness at, like, a rock climbing course, and it fell on top of her or something. I don't know. But I posted That Almost Doesn't Count by Brandy. If you're going to tell us you almost died, let's make it count, honey.
I mean, yeah, let's give them something to talk about. So what's your headline for today, Donny?
I want to talk about Kim Kardashian, and there's a lot to talk about Kim this week. First, we'll start with Taylor's album. So on Taylor's album, she wrote Thank You, Amy, which everyone now knows because the K and the I and the M are capitalized. But there's also another track on the album called Cassandra, and people think that is about Kim or Kanye as well. Great. Now, I'm not going to talk about the songs themselves. I'm not going to say if they sound like background music on a CW show or what I feel about them.
Sure. I'm not going to say that Taylor Swift is a great artist, but maybe she should take a rest because no person can be putting out 30 songs every 8 months, hitting the high marks that we're used to. I won't say that.
No, and I won't say if you release a deluxe album with 31 songs, perhaps you should have like 12 that could have just been a good album on its own. I won't say any of that.
And I'm also not going to say that if you are going to equate poetry, that maybe this should be your strongest lyric work. And if it's not, people will notice. I'm not going to say that.
No, we won't say any of that. What we will say, what I'll say at least, is if you need to write songs about how you're over it, perhaps you're not. Perhaps you're not. Swifties, don't come for me. She's not the only one that has done this. Missy Elliott did this with Gossip Folks. Like, if you need to say that you are over it and you don't care what people think, maybe you did.
I have to say, there were a couple bops. The one about the high-functioning anxiety, the one about crying like it's your birthday and you're so productive. I vibe with that one. I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, I would much rather like a power ballad about like fuck off. Very much her Reputation era. I loved all the songs that were like, I'm gonna burn this shit to the ground. Look what you made me do. Fuck you, motherfuckers. I like that type of energy because I do think it is a little bit adjacent to posting inspirational quotes to your Instagram. If I start seeing more than, I mean, the first one's a red flag, but if I see more than 3 inspirational quotes on somebody's Instagram stories in a week, that's a cry for help. And I do think we venture into that territory when artists are like, I'm so over it. I'm so over it that I'm going to write and produce and record a song about it.
Agreed. I'm with you on all of those notes. And I am not on either side. For the most part, I don't get on sides in celebrity drama. However, Kim Kardashian lost 100,000 followers after this song came out. And again, I don't care what Taylor said in the song. I don't care what Kim did. I'm truly not on a side here, but get a life to all those 100,000 people that unfollowed her. This is not new information. She just wrote a song about it now, but like we knew they hated each other's guts. We knew what Kim did to her. We knew that Taylor released the audio saying like what Kim did was true. This is all old stuff. So why did 100,000 people in bulk unfollow her?
Yeah, it's performative activism is what it is. And I have to say, I am on Taylor's side with this. I feel like Kim and Kanye went out of their way to besmirch her name publicly. Like, I am on Taylor's side with this. But at the same time, like, yeah, you either didn't know about it or you did know about it and still followed Kim Kardashian. Also, spoiler alert, you don't actually have to follow any of the Kardashians. You will still receive all of the Kardashian information via osmosis. I've been doing it for years. I haven't watched a show. I haven't followed any of them on Instagram. I still know that Kim Kardashian was talking about her eyebrows this week. How? I don't know. Maybe the vaccine's microchip.
What if that's what the microchip was for? Just to give you Kardashian news.
You know what? I would not be surprised. Kris Jenner works hard.
One more thing about this Taylor album. Kim went on Jimmy Kimmel this week to talk about something else. And he asked her how she feels about life after the song release. And she was like, life is good. But then Swifties, get a life, went online and complained that he missed an opportunity by not asking more questions about Taylor. If it was reversed and Taylor Swift went on a talk show and then all they did was ask questions about Kim, they would be upset.
Yeah.
Poor Kelly Rowland was upset when she was promoting her movie and they would ask her about the Beyonce album. Like, she just wanted to promote her movie, and at least they worked together in the past.
I just thought it was so funny that we still got 100 headlines out of it. Like, Kim Kardashian says life is good after Taylor Swift album. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess.
That's how famous I want to be. And you know this already, but I could truly do anything. I could sacrifice a baby and then dance around naked and fuck Bill Clinton, and it would not make national news. But I feel like Kim Kardashian or Taylor Swift can sneeze, and they're like, oh, Kim's in bad health.
Well, I feel like if you sacrificed a baby, danced around naked, and fucked Bill Clinton, that might make news. Now, I don't think there would be much longevity. I think maybe you would get a Lifetime movie made about you while you serve your time in jail. But I understand that you want to be that famous. I never want to be that famous. I never want to be so famous that I feel confined and shackled in my own life because of paparazzi.
You know what? I think that's doable. I think in every duo, there's one that is like famous like that. Like Keke Palmer was on Good Morning America with Sarah Sanders or whatever her name is. Who's that? Nobody knows.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to be Sarah Sanders, maybe.
That's fair. That's very fair. I do want to leave this Kim Kardashian story on a good note, kind of.
Okay.
So Netflix purchased a new scripted teen drama about living in Calabasas, and it is going to be produced by Kim Kardashian, okay, Emma Roberts, great, and this is where I don't know how I feel about it.
If you say Emma Watson, I'm turning this computer off.
First of all, they're only producing it. No one said they're going to be in it
Okay.
yet. And who cares even if Emma Watson is in it? No one says Calabasas like Emma Watson's accent.
I'm going to murder you. I'm going to sacrifice you and dance naked and then fuck Bill Clinton.
You are on the wrong side of history
Okay,
here.
we're not getting into it. I am standing firm. I am standing my ground on this one.
No, we are getting into it for a second.
Emma Watson does not have a good American accent.
Normally fine, but in The Bling Ring, yes. She did character work and it was good in The Bling Ring. Was it good in Beauty and the Beast? No. Was it good in the Wallflower movie? No. But in The Bling Ring, yes.
Did she do an American accent in Beauty and the Beast?
I don't think it was British. Or maybe it was.
See, you can't even tell because... Okay. Circling back, you're ending on a high note. It's being produced. Who is the third person?
Marlene King. This woman ruined my life. I have PTSD from this woman. She is the showrunner of the original Pretty Little Liars. And if this woman ruins this show the way she ruined that show, I might not live another day.
Donny.
I didn't say I would take my own life. I don't need to be watched. I just might literally finish. Pfft. evaporate into thin air.
You're going to get raptured.
Uh-huh.
Zooping up to the top. So is she responsible for all the twists and turns of Pretty Little Liars, where eventually you had to have like a notebook to take notes to keep track of all the plot
Yes,
points
and
characters?
It still didn't make sense. And the show ended, spoiler alert, with A being Spencer's British twin. So we have not met this character at all the entire show. And then the girl that plays Spencer just comes out. There's two of her, and one is speaking British.
And one was played by Emma Watson. It was a fucking mess, yeah. Well, I mean, we're saying it ended crazy. It did start out by romanticizing a teacher-student relationship. Like, from the beginning, it was like, ooh, will they, won't they? I hope they will. I hope this creepy-ass teacher starts dating his underage student any day now.
That's true. And that's why I like, if you go on TikTok and stuff, the writer of the books has done this whole series of like everything that is different from the books and things that she wished they wouldn't have fucked up. And that's one of them. She's like, he goes to jail in the books. I did not write this to be romanticized.
I would be so pissed if they bought the rights and then they were like, and we're going to change this to pro pedophiles.
Now, in the new one, I do love it. It's dark. There's no teacher's love triangle, whatever. However, I love it so much that season 2 is coming out. And this is a secret just for the cuties. Season 2 is coming out. So I decided I should get a PR kit so I can post it on Instagram and say like, hey, cuties, I'm excited about season 2. Look, they gave me a beach towel. However, I didn't think I had enough followers for it. So what I did was I emailed HBO using the real Donnywood email address. And I said, hello, my client, Donald Hadfield, has this many followers on Instagram. His podcast has this many listens. He talks about the show on Instagram and his podcast. He would love if he can get a PR kit. Thank you, Stephanie Sanchez, office coordinator. And they did not respond to Stephanie yet.
Huh. Well, I love that. I don't know if you admitting this publicly is going to help old Steph, but I do love the chutzpah.
Thank you.
Can Stephanie Sanchez be our assistant and office manager? Like, do you think that maybe she could start supporting the show?
She's already worked a few shifts. I just never told you. Yeah.
Love that.
But when big names are reached out to, for instance, when Keke Palmer was approached to be on the podcast, it's Stephanie Sanchez that emails her.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Man, Steph is really putting in those hours. I appreciate her. Well, fingers crossed. Mercury is apparently righting itself. We're no longer going to be in retrograde. I'm going to say that when the stars are all going in the right direction, you're going to get that PR package.
Thank you. Also, my little horoscope thing says that from April 27th to October 3rd, some comet called Fama or whatever, it's the comet for fame, is in Pisces. So fame will be circling around me from April 27th to October 3rd.
Hopefully you'll get so famous that you'll sneeze and people will be worried about you.
Fingers crossed.
Wow. Well, ask, believe, receive. My horoscope said that when Mercury turns direct, it's going to be like boots on the ground running. They said, hold on to your horses. Things are happening. So that's pretty good for both of us. Because for a while there, our horoscopes were both like, it's okay. Things will get better. To quote Wilson Phillips, hold on for one more day.
You can hold on to your horse and I'll do a nature documentary about it.
There we go. See? When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And when it gives you a stomach bug, just film about your prolapsed asshole.
Okay.
This seems like a natural segue to Tori spelling. So once again, I'm in the unique predicament where the things I don't want to talk about end up being the very things I need to talk about, because when a certain amount of celebrity headlines hit a threshold, I need to speak my truth. I need to speak from the heart, and I need to talk shit about it. Okay. Tori Spelling, who isn't known for being quiet and private about her life, certainly.
No.
But she has started a podcast called Miss Spelling. We knew what this podcast was going to be about because, again, Tori Spelling, she had a whole reality show where her and her now ex-husband were just blatantly not doing well and showing it all. We knew what this podcast was going to be when the premiere episode began with her on air calling Dean to tell him that she filed for divorce. You got to admire a woman who's really going to put it all out there.
I love Tori Spelling. I think she'd be a perfect housewife on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in a Sutton way. You know I love a pathetic housewife. And it turns out I love just a pathetic person, not on Real Housewives as well. She has no shame. She is very much like a social climber and wants to be seen and wants to be relevant in any way possible. And I love that for her. It makes me cackle.
I do agree that she would be a great housewife because she does fit into our Shashas of Potomac. Like the pathetic, she really is going to put it all out there type of energy.
Yeah.
Which she really does put it all out there, because the tipping point for me, and I'm going to go through some other headlines that have been out there later, but the tipping point for me was when I read the following headline this week. This is when I knew we got to talk about Tori Spelling. Fine, she's worn me down. She's won. I'm talking about you, Tori. You won. Tori Spelling admits she once put on her son's diaper and peed in it while stuck in traffic, after revealing that she can't even poop unless her kids are in the bathroom with her.
Okay, the poop part is too much for me. That we enter Meghan Trainor territory. But I don't think the diaper part you should be judging.
Well, I am in a glass house. I did start out this podcast by talking about my poor asshole after that stomach bug, and I have shared about the McDonald's bag.
So much so that it's part of our theme song.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with the lore of the McDonald's bag, go back to our Josie and the Pussycats episode. So I know that maybe it's a situation where you see in others things you don't like about yourself. How old is her son? Because those diapers are small. So if you had to go that bad, are we really relying on Pampers to soak up all that urine? I feel like a McDonald's bag, a diaper, that is like a, oh my God, I've got to make a game time decision here type of move. And to me, it seems like it was done prematurely. Like surely we could have pulled off on an exit.
Well, here's the thing. This is someone who paparazzi takes pictures of. This is not whatever her name is, Sarah Sanders. There will be cameras if you see Tori Spelling pissing by a tree on the side of the road.
Well, but then again, we have to think of who this Keke Palmer is. She is Tori Spelling. So sure, Keke Palmer probably wouldn't want paparazzi taking pictures of her pissing on the side of the road. But this is a woman who, spoiler alert, another headline is Tori Spelling reveals why she and Dean slept in separate bedrooms for 3 years. And no, it's not a pig. So where's the line here?
The line is she is in charge of these narratives. I think she would have no problem telling you I pulled to the side of the highway and pissed, but I think that she wouldn't want me taking a picture with hooch out.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I really do like Tori Spelling too. She is a frequent guest on My Guilty Pleasure, Jeff Lewis Live, and she's really endearing and sweet, and she is pathetic and desperate for fame, but in a very like relatable type of way. I don't think it's her. I do think it's this new thing that it seems like PR. I mean, we've got to tell Stephanie Sanchez we do not want this type of publicity. But it's this new like PR push I'm noticing where when people have a podcast or a memoir coming out, it's like they start being in every single headline, and it makes me immediately hate them. It happened with Jada Pinkett Smith when she released her book. It's happening now with Rebel Wilson. My God, you can't scroll on the Daily Mail without Rebel Wilson being out there. And then I feel like it's happening with JoJo Siwa too, and her like, I'm not a kid anymore. Look, I'm dressed like kids.
Okay, first of all, there will never be any headline that can get me to turn on Jada, so I don't know what you're speaking about. Rebel Wilson, I also don't know what you're speaking about, but not because I like her. I have not seen any Rebel Wilson news ever.
Really?
Yeah.
No, she has been all over my feed. So maybe my NSA agent is sending me a message.
See, that's why it's heavenly to just block people.
No, she has a book that came out, and then it's a weird situation because she talked about Sacha Baron Cohen being like a nightmare on set, but she has since now retracted, and in the new copies of the books, there's a retraction that's put out. Then she talked about how Adele doesn't like her because she's fat. It's like all of these headlines are just constantly circulating. And again, it's like, I don't necessarily know if it's her fault, because I'm sure this is just like information in the memoir that now people are posting about. And I guess it happened to some degree when the Britney book came out, but that's a different situation because it's Britney. I understand they want to get the narrative out, like, I have a new book, but at what point do you not need to purchase the book because we're just reading it on the Daily Mail?
Well, that's my problem with it, because they always put the juiciest stuff, so then the things you're reading are like, one time I went to a Walmart with no shoes. I was like, I didn't need to read that. That is filler.
Well, just a few more headlines
Can't wait.
about Tori Spelling, because I did start to collect them as they were popping up in my feed. Tori Spelling reveals no one has broken my heart since my first love, and Beverly Hills 90210 co-star Brian Austin Green. Amid divorce from ex Dean McDermott. Can you imagine going through a divorce and being like, I just never loved somebody since that first love?
Yeah, that's
And then finally, Tori Spelling says Shannon Doherty wore the bloodstained dress she lost her virginity in. And again, I know we're casting stones. We overshare quite literally on a bi-weekly basis, but my God.
We are not casting stones. I want it to be known that I have no problem with any of the headlines you've said. In fact, my favorite celebrity moment of all time is when she passed out on the hibachi grill and burnt her face. Do you remember that?
No.
It was at Benihana. I think she was drunk and she passed out on the hibachi grill, face on the fryer, and had 3rd-degree burns.
Oh my God, she pulled a Michael Scott with that George Foreman, except it was her face. Good heavens. Wow.
I do want to talk, since you mentioned Shannon Doherty and that virginity dress, I do want to talk. There was a 90210 reunion recently at Comic-Con, and the whole cast that is still alive was there. And I hate Shannon Doherty so much. I hate her. And it brought me so much joy to see that Jenny Garth does as well. Jenny Garth can't stand that bitch. And she never said it, but I could see it in her eyes. And I wish that I could look in the camera at her. I wish we were on a Zoom instead of me watching a YouTube video. And I would say, me too.
Wow. I mean, I know why, because you've certainly ranted about her enough, but has she done anything new recently to make you hate her so much with a burning passion?
Nothing new, but now that there are all these reunions for 90210 and Charmed and whatever, I'm seeing her more, and it's not out of sight, out of mind. Now it's like, she's my recurring headline. And she has her podcast, so Shannon Doherty is always in the news now, so I can't forget that I hate her.
Okay.
My cutie of the week is Beyonce, because she came out with a new hair care line that Kenya Moore supports. Kenya said there's room in this game for all of us.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that now. Whenever a new celebrity comes out with a podcast, I'm going to take to my Instagram and be like, congratulations, Oprah. There's room in the space for all of us.
It is true. But also, it's very clear you'll have Album of the Year. So, way to go. Congratulations, Beyonce.
Well, we're really asking for it. We got one hate comment last week, and we're like, you know what? We want thousands more. My cutie of the week was originally going to be my butthole, but I think that we've talked about that enough. So instead, I'm going to make my cutie of the week Charlie Pluth.
Okay.
Because he was shouted out by name in the new Taylor Swift album. So good for him. I imagine that his phone has been ringing off the hook.
It would have been nicer to perhaps do a duet with him, but you know what? This is a good start.
It was a backhanded compliment now that I think about it, that her and Matt Healy, which the fact that that album was about that man really shows that it doesn't matter who you are in this life. A fuckboy, once they get their claws in you, they really do their damage. But talking about how they both agree that Charlie Pluth should be higher valued, saying that he's undervalued.
It is backhanded compliment. I wouldn't put that in a song that you know everyone will listen to, but also, I do think it's true. I don't think he's a household name.
No, I only know him because he reposted our friend Hannah Brown's TikTok where she dressed up as him for Halloween. He posted it, he duetted with it, and then he deleted it. So he's on my shit list until he puts that TikTok back up.
So I'm going to write a song about him. Thank you, Charlie. And on that note, that is the end of this chaotic episode. We hope you're able to watch it on YouTube, and we hope that you enjoyed it. We're recording this the last day of Mercury in retrograde. Let me get to April 27th so I can just be famous until October 3rd. Sure. Thank you.
I wonder what's going to happen on October 3rd.
I think Renee Rapp's going to talk about me because it's Mean Girls Day. So she'll say something to end me once and for all. I'll be vanquished.
Oh.
I know.
The charm demon.
Yeah. Hopefully not vanquished by Shannon Doherty's wonky eyeball. Okay, on my...
Fuck. We almost made it to the end.
When that woman stands in front of a mirror, my body twitches. On Monday, we will be covering Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which literally gave Chelsea's whole family the shit. So tune in for that. And we will talk to you later. Love you like a sister. Bye. Bye.